Guatsi Hopa, Mihanu. I'm very grateful that you're here today. Thank you. It's easy to get emotional about our natural resources and about traditional tribal land when you know that your ancestors have been there for generations and that it's only because of them that you sit here today. It's because they were able to work hard, to work through drought and famine, and that their intelligence and hard work and their vision for the future of leaving a legacy for their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and so forth, that's the reason you're here. And I realize that that's a charge that you take on, that you have a responsibility to leave a just world and an environment to your grandchildren. So I appreciate you all coming so far today to offer us your insights on what Bears Ears means to you and what our national monuments mean to you, because there's tribes all over this country, and perhaps they don't have a connection to Bears Ears, but there are many other national monuments that, that essentially hold the history of their people as well. So I thank you for being here. And Vice Chairman Small, thank you for reminding us that without Indian tribes, none of us would be sitting here today. There would be no United States of America. And in fact, we are sitting on Indian land right now. Mr. Chairman, long before it was the state of Utah and home to the ranking member or Representative Curtis or Ms. Clark, the land was home to Native people. These people flourished on the land. They hunted and planted. They raised their families and worshiped in ways that were given to them by the Creator. These lands were their home long before they were anyone else's home. We have the descendants of those earliest people sitting before us today, and they traveled thousands of miles to talk about why this land is important. We have heard that this illegal elimination of our national monuments, which I am seeking to reverse through my Antiquities Act of 2019, was for the sake of traditional uses. But I ask, how do we draw the lines around those traditions? Why is grazing considered traditional use but not subsistence? Why coal and gas extraction but not tribal religious practices? I agree with the chairman that one role of this committee is to lift up people's voices, but I wonder why some of us don't seem to hear the voices of the tribal people sitting in front of us today. I have a few questions. My first is for Mr. Robertson. I want to read you a line from a draft document outlining the monuments review process that was released to the public. And it's, quote, "Due to the nature of the review and the relatively short time period involved, it is not possible to engage in formal consultation with interested tribal governments on the monuments review. I ask you, how can the DOI claim that tribes were a partner in this process or that they were even consulted when they were not engaged in the formal consultation?"
Thank you, Congresswoman, for the question. I was a part of the original rollout of the study that the President had the Secretary Zinke start. And as part of that process, he came to Utah first. And one of the first things we did was to reach out to the 5 tribes that were identified in the proclamation and ask them if they would come to Salt Lake and meet with the Secretary. They did, and we had a good meeting there, followed on with a tour of Utah, the 2 monuments, and him meeting with others of the Native American community and others, stakeholders and residents of Utah as he moved through the state. The national process, he set up a process for a public comment period, for meetings, listening sessions for tribes nationally, and other opportunities that included the Deputy Secretary or Acting Deputy Secretary meeting for the tribes in the coalition in late May, I believe it was, and to talk about and to listen to what their issues were. I don't know beyond that because I was not involved in that as part of my review, or support of the review, what was done. But I
Thank
thought
you.
that was a good start, and I know the Secretary listened.